Oh boy, here we go again. So I was messing around with ChatGPT today and I decided to try something out. I can't remember exactly what I told it, but I said something like find a bad article criticizing Doom the Dark Ages for me to laugh at. I didn't expect it to actually work, but it gave me one, and it gave me a really stupid one. So obviously today we're going to be responding to it. Thanks, ChatGPT. Anyway, the article we're going to take a look at today is a little bit old. It's about a month old, and it comes from none other than everyone's favorite gaming journalist outlet on the entirety of the internet known as The Gamer. After 3 hours with Doom the Dark Ages, I'm a little bit worried. Bro, it's a video game. What is there to be worried about? Dude's acting like his car is about to explode. 2020's Doom Eternal might be my favorite shooter of all time. Its emphasis on mobility and platforming alongside its puzzle-like approach to combat immediately resonated with me, and I haven't played anything since that has given me the same kind of kinetic, chaotic thrill. I love the momentum of Eternal, its feeling that the only way to survive is to be bigger and scarier than the nightmares you face, to the forces of hell. You are the demon. That's the fantasy Doom Eternal sets out to create, and it delivers in spades. Wow, I never thought I would see a gaming journalist say something that is so honestly based. Doom Eternal genuinely is a fantastic game, but you guys are soon gonna come to find out that the reason this person is worried about Doom the Dark Ages is, well, to put it very simply, it's not Doom Eternal, therefore it's bad. Which is funny because people made this exact same stupid argument when Doom Eternal came out. They were saying it was bad because it wasn't 2016. They said it was bad because the chainsaw was a core mechanic in the game that the game kind of revolved around. People were saying it was bad because it had platforming sections. People called it bad because it had the small, very simple puzzles that you had to do where you'd like punch a box or something. People called it bad because you had to swap weapons a lot. And now, Doom the Dark Ages is bad because it's not Doom Eternal. Whereas Doom Eternal was bad because it wasn't 2016. You gotta love the gaming community, man. In my review of the Ancient Gods DLC, I suggested that the only way to move forward for the series would be to take it through yet another total reinvention. And that's exactly what id Software has done with Doom the Dark Ages. The techno-medieval prequel to 2016's Doom may not look like that much of a departure, but it has a fundamentally different approach to combat that will come as a shock to some fans. The frenzied rip and tear action Doom is known for has been replaced by a slower and more defensive stand and fight philosophy. And after a few hours with the game, I'm not convinced this is the path I wanted the Doom Slayer to take. Well, you hear that, id Software? Your game didn't take the path that this gaming journalist wanted it to take, so you guys better get to reinventing the entire game. You said you wanted them to completely change the style of the game, basically, after the Ancient Gods, and they did that, but now you're complaining? Like, what the hell did you guys want? They're literally doing exactly what you asked, but all of a sudden it's a problem? And no shit, this is a slower paced game. They outright came and said that that is going to be the case. They are making this intentionally more slow-paced and a lot of focus on defense, which you're about to complain about later. At the press preview for Doom the Dark Ages earlier this month, I played 4 distinct sections of the game. I started with the first 2 missions, which represented the more linear Doom levels that we're used to. Then I played a section of a mech battle where the Doomslayer goes full Pacific Rim to slug it out with some towering Titan demons. Next, I played through one of the dragon riding sections, and finally, I explored one of the more open zone levels where you get to choose the order in which you tackle each objective. If you're a fan of the series, you'll probably notice right away how different the Dark Ages feels compared to its predecessors, and that's not just because of the castles and dragons. It turns out our Doomslayer used to have a much tankier fighting style, which means you're going to be spending a lot more time with your feet planted on the ground, facing your enemies head on. I hope you like parrying because you're going to be doing a lot of it. You say that as if it's a negative. No shit, a game where the main focus of the game is on a shield is going to have you doing a lot of parrying and blocking. In other words, grass is green and the sky is blue. While there are new weapons, abilities, and upgrades to explore, the Slayer's most important new tool is undoubtedly his shield saw. The Chainsaw Laden Buckler is exactly as cool as it looks. It can block projectiles or send them back. You can use it to rush into enemies and stun them with a shield bash, and you can throw it Captain America style to slice a bunch of dudes in half. Okay, maybe not that Captain America style. It's a very cool weapon indeed, but I didn't expect how much giving the Doomslayer a shield would wrap the pace of Doom's combat. There is far less emphasis on mobility. The Slayer cannot double jump or dash, and most shocking of all, there's a sprint button. Rather than dodging and weaving your way around the battlefield like a shotgun-wielding acrobat, the Dark Ages demands a slower, more intentional forward push. You are an unstoppable force, and you demonstrate it by parrying each incoming attack and unloading your chosen weapon point blank into every demon foolish enough to stand in your way. The bigger the demon, the more perfect parries you'll need to perform before you can prove who the bigger monster is. You're seriously surprised that the pace of this game is different when Doomslayer is given a shield? Like, did you think it was just there for looks or something? No shit, the shield is gonna change the pace of the game dramatically. It's the main focus of the game. That, along with two other sections that you're gonna complain about. After playing for a couple of hours, I never really got a handle on this style of combat. Whenever the demons started to swarm, my muscle memory kicked in and I started trying to dodge left and right to avoid attacks or jump to higher ground to rain down fire from above. I can expertly dismantle every demon type in Doom Eternal with my eyes closed, but take away my dash and hand me a shield and it's an entirely different game, one I'm not sure feels as fun or exciting to play. While I'm ambivalent about the Dark Ages' new take on combat, I have more firm opinions about the new mech and dragon riding levels. They're not very good. I only spent a few minutes mecha boxing with the big boys, but that's all I needed because it doesn't seem like there's much to it. I enjoyed the scale of piloting the mech and the destruction you can cause by walking through buildings and other structures, but the Titan slugfests are far too simple for a series known for its sophisticated combat. The first fight is pretty cool, but once I realized every fight was the same, I just wanted to get back to the real Doom gameplay. The same goes for dragon riding, which lost all of its novelty real quick. Flying is awkward and clunky. You have variable speed that resets when you ascend or descend, which have their own buttons to activate. So you're constantly having to make weird multi-button inputs just to maintain your speed. Now, obviously I can't respond and say, oh, you're lying, because I haven't played the game, so I guess we'll just have to take the journo's word for this. For combat, the dragon switches to hover mode, which lets you lock onto enemies. Doing perfect dodges amplifies your damage, which helps you kill things faster. This mechanic is even more awkward than flying. While hovering, you're stuck in an invisible box. So if you dodge too far up, down, to the left, or to the right, you'll run into that wall, even though you're just hovering in the open air. In order to perform perfect dodges, I frequently had to move the dragon into a line of incoming fire and then dodge out of it, taking care not to dodge too far towards a border I could not see. I did not enjoy riding the Doom Dragon, which is not something I ever expected to say, and then they say variety for the sake of it, but I mean, people have been asking for the variety of the mech at least. I don't know about the dragon. But if this is true and the game is clunky, then I hope that is something that they can get fixed. We will have to wait and see. The final section I played was in a more free-roaming level where various demon camps needed to be dispatched, and it was up to me to choose in what order I dealt with them. I've never thought any of the modern Doom levels were too small or limiting, so I wasn't quite sure what the appeal of more open and explorable levels would be, and after playing one of them, I'm still not. The camps were mostly all the same, with copy-paste arenas to fight through, albeit with different mini-bosses in each one. After clearing one camp, I'd then walk to the next one with nothing to fight and nothing particularly interesting to do or see in between. This level felt like an attempt to inject some variety without a clear vision of why this kind of level design fits Doom, especially a Doom with a lot less emphasis on mobility. If there were some cool platforming sections between each camp, it would be one thing, but all I got was a bit of a jog, followed by another battle in an identical camp. Now, I understand what the journalist is saying here, but for me, it depends on how long the jog is from one arena to the other. If it's like a 30-45 second jog to each camp, I really don't care at all. And it's a nice, slowing of pace, especially if there's cool shit going on in the background. But if it's like 3 minutes, then yeah, that's gonna be an issue. They should really specify how long the jogs are from camp to camp, but they did have platforming sections in Doom Eternal, and people bitched about it, so that's probably why they got rid of it. During the dragon level, the Doom Slayer was tasked with taking down a series of floating fortresses. Once you took down their defenses, you'd leap off the dragon and fight your way to the control room. A cool scenario, but the interior of every ship had identical layouts. I really enjoy the world building in the Doom reboot series, and I was impressed with the depth of the lore in Doom Eternal, so I'm excited to see how the Dark Ages expands the legend of the Doom Slayer by taking us back to Argent D'Nur to follow the events that led to 2016's Doom. I expect I will eventually get a handle on stand and fight, and maybe even learn to appreciate how the new style of combat can benefit the Doom formula. I came into this preview excited to find out how id Software had managed to outdo Doom Eternal, but now I'm not sure that it has. Now, that is the article. Is it the worst article I've ever read? No. I think there was a lot of needless bitching, especially at the earlier parts of the article, but complaining about clunky controls and repetitive combat sections I think is completely fair, and this is a better article than most that I read. However, I am still very excited for the game. They just seem like a very big fan of Doom Eternal, which is fair, but they kind of allowed their love of Doom Eternal to get in the way of this game, to the point where they kind of insinuated that it was bad because it wasn't like Doom Eternal. But the truth is, Doom Eternal was a pretty divisive game, if we're being honest. But that is going to do it for today's video. If you guys enjoyed, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. If you didn't, you can leave a dislike and tell me how I'm wrong. And yeah, I'm out, man.